Welcome, my friends, to a world where the lines between reality and nightmare blur. Tonight we delve into the unsettling world of miniature secret societies. These aren't your grandma's tea parties. Prepare yourself for 3 spine-chilling tales that will leave you questioning everything. And maybe you'll start taking a closer look at that dusty old dollhouse in the attic. Imagine this, an old, rambling Victorian house, shrouded in an almost palpable silence, as if the house itself is holding its breath. Inside, a family, the Thompsons, are unpacking boxes in the dusty attic, their faces lit with the excitement of new beginnings. Amongst the cobwebs and forgotten memories, they find it, a magnificent antique dollhouse, intricately detailed and eerily lifelike. The youngest of the Thompsons, Sophie, is immediately captivated, her eyes wide with wonder. She begs her parents to let her keep it, unaware that her innocent wish is about to plunge their family into a nightmare that defies imagination. As days turn into nights, strange things begin to happen, subtle at first, but growing more sinister with each passing hour. Whispers seem to emanate from the attic, tiny footsteps echo in the dead of night as if the house itself is alive. Sophie's parents dismiss it as an overactive imagination, but Sophie knows better. She feels the presence, the eyes watching her. She's noticed something peculiar about the dollhouse. The dolls, frozen in their painted smiles during the day, seem to move at night, their positions changing mysteriously. Their positions are different, their eyes gleaming with an unsettling life, as if they are aware of her presence. Driven by curiosity and a growing sense of dread, Sophie sneaks into the attic one night, her heart pounding in her chest. As she peers into the dusty windows of the dollhouse, her breath catches in her throat. The dolls are alive. They move with a grace and purpose that is both mesmerizing and terrifying. Dressed in miniature finery, they waltz and dine, their painted smiles replaced with chillingly lifelike expressions. But something isn't right. There's a darkness in their eyes. There's a sinister undercurrent to their gaiety, a rigid order that sends shivers down Sophie's spine, as if they are enacting some twisted ritual. She witnesses a doll, its porcelain face contorted in terror, being dragged away by 2 others, their expressions cold and unfeeling. Sophie's innocent fascination morphs into sheer terror as she realizes the truth. The dollhouse isn't just inhabited, it's ruled by a miniature society with its own brutal punishments and dark secrets. Night after night, the horrifying drama unfolds before Sophie's eyes, each scene more disturbing than the last. The dolls, once objects of childhood fantasy, become harbingers of fear, their once innocent faces now twisted into masks of malevolence. She tries to tell her parents, but they dismiss her stories as childish nightmares, unable to see the truth that is consuming their daughter. They don't see the fear that's slowly consuming their daughter, the terror that grips her every time she looks at the dollhouse. One night, Sophie makes a horrifying discovery. One of the dolls bears a chilling resemblance to her own mother, its features eerily familiar. Its once gentle features are twisted into a grotesque mockery of her mother's loving smile, a sinister parody that sends chills down Sophie's spine. Sophie knows, with a certainty that chills her to the bone, that the Dollhouse Society isn't content with simply existing in the shadows. They want more, they want to break free. Panic sets in, a cold dread gripping Sophie's heart. She realizes she must act quickly. She has to do something, but how can she make her family believe the unbelievable? How can she save them from the nightmare that has taken root in their home? Our next tale takes us to Maplewood, a small town where life moves at a slower pace, where everyone knows everyone. But beneath the surface of normalcy, a darkness is spreading, creeping into the lives of the unsuspecting residents. It begins subtly, almost imperceptibly, like a shadow that grows longer as the sun sets. A string of missing pets, their empty collars left hanging on porches, a silent testament to their absence. Then the disappearances escalate, spreading fear and confusion among the townspeople. A jogger vanishes on his morning run, leaving behind only his shoes. A young couple disappears during a late-night stroll through the park. Fear grips Maplewood, whispering its way through the once peaceful streets, turning neighbors into wary watchers. The local police are baffled. There's no evidence, no witnesses, no apparent motive, just a growing list of the missing. The townsfolk whisper about a curse, an ancient evil lurking in the woods surrounding Maplewood. They speak of shadows that move on their own and whispers carried by the wind. But the truth is far stranger, far more unsettling than any ghost story. At the center of this mystery lies an unassuming object, the garden gnome, a fixture in many gardens. These seemingly innocuous figures have become a staple in gardens across the world, symbols of whimsy and charm. But in Maplewood, these silent sentinels harbor a dark secret, one that has gone unnoticed for too long. Unbeknownst to the unsuspecting townsfolk, the gnomes are not what they seem, hiding a sinister purpose. As the sun sets, the gnomes come to life, their painted eyes gleaming with malevolent intent. Their painted eyes gleam with malevolent intent, their frozen smiles morph into chilling grins. Their frozen smiles morph into chilling grins, revealing their true nature. They are the instruments of a silent, unseen force, their mission to gather sacrifices for a ritual as old as time itself. Their mission is to gather sacrifices for a ritual as old as time itself, a dark ceremony that demands blood. One by one, they lure the unsuspecting to their doom, their victims unaware until it's too late. A young woman named Sarah, new to Maplewood, notices something strange about her neighbor's gnome, something unsettling. Its eyes seem to follow her every move, its painted smile seeming to widen into a menacing grin. Its painted smile seeming to widen into a menacing grin as if it knows something she doesn't. She dismisses it as a trick of the light, convincing herself that her mind is playing tricks on her. But a seed of unease has been planted, growing with each passing day. Her suspicions grow when she finds her own cat, Mittens, staring intently at the gnome in her garden as if sensing danger. Animals with their heightened senses can often perceive what humans cannot, sensing the malevolence that lurks within. But Sarah, blinded by her own logic, ignores the warning signs, dismissing her cat's behavior as mere curiosity. One night she wakes to a chilling sound, a soft rhythmic chanting coming from her backyard, a sound that sends shivers down her spine. Curiosity overriding fear, she peers out her window and gasps at the sight before her, unable to believe her eyes. Dozens of gnomes, their eyes glowing with an eerie light, are gathered in a circle performing a dark ritual. And in the center of the circle, bound and gagged, is her neighbor, his eyes wide with terror, pleading for help. Sarah watches in horror as the chanting reaches a fever pitch, the gnomes swaying in unison, their movements synchronized. The gnomes swaying in unison, their movements rhythmic and hypnotic, as if controlled by an unseen force. Just when she thinks it can't get any worse, the ground begins to tremble, a deep guttural growl emanating from the earth itself, a deep guttural growl emanating from the earth itself, shaking the very foundation of her reality. Sarah is left to grapple with the horrifying reality of what she has witnessed. Her sense of normalcy shattered, her world forever changed. Her sense of normalcy shattered, she realizes that Maplewood will never be the same again, and neither will she. Our final tale leads us into the shadowy world of antique collecting, a realm where the past whispers its secrets to those who dare to listen. Meet Edward, a solitary man driven by an insatiable hunger for rare and unusual artifacts, always on the lookout for the next hidden gem. His latest acquisition, a stunningly detailed miniature mansion, promises to be the crown jewel of his collection, a piece that stands out even among his most prized possessions. Crafted with meticulous care, the mansion is a marvel of craftsmanship, each tiny detail a testament to the skill of its creator. Edward, captivated by its beauty, places it on a pedestal in his study where he can admire it every day. Little does he know, he has invited something sinister into his home, a presence that lurks in the shadows. As days turn into nights, Edward finds himself drawn to the miniature mansion, unable to resist its mysterious allure. He begins to hear things, faint whispers, the soft strumming of a harpsichord, the tinkling laughter of children, sounds that seem to come from within the mansion itself. He dismisses these occurrences as figments of his imagination, convincing himself that it's just his mind playing tricks on him. But deep down, a seed of unease has been planted, growing with each passing day. One evening, as Edward is examining the mansion, he notices something peculiar, a faint light emanating from within, flickering like a distant star. Intrigued, he leans closer, his breath catching in his throat as he realizes the source of the light, a revelation that chills him to the bone. The mansion is alive. Tiny figures flit past the windows, their forms too small, too detailed to be mere figurines, moving with a life of their own. He sees a grand ballroom bathed in ethereal light, couples waltzing to music only they can hear, a scene both enchanting and terrifying. As Edward observes this miniature world, a sense of dread creeps over him, a feeling that something is terribly wrong. There's something off about the mansion's inhabitants, a malevolence that belies their delicate features, a darkness that lurks behind their eyes. Their eyes are hollow, devoid of warmth, reflecting a coldness that sends shivers down his spine, a void that seems to pull him in. He soon discovers that the mansion houses a secret society of spirits, trapped within its walls, their souls bound to the miniature forever. Edward, initially captivated by the novelty of his discovery, finds himself increasingly disturbed, the mansion's charm turning into a nightmare. The spirits crave interaction with the outside world, their whispers growing louder, more insistent, demanding his attention. They begin to manipulate objects in his study, their spectral rage growing with each passing night, their presence becoming more and more oppressive. Fear takes root in Edward's heart, a fear that he cannot escape, a fear that consumes him. The miniature mansion, once an object of beauty, has become his prison, a cage from which there is no escape. Driven to the brink of madness, Edward knows he has to find a way to break free, to escape the clutches of the malevolent spirits. But how do you fight a force that exists beyond the veil, a force that holds him captive in his own home, a force that seems to have no weakness? Thank you for joining me tonight, my friends, as we journeyed into the unsettling world of miniature secret societies. Remember, these are just stories, tales spun from the shadows to send shivers down your spine. If you enjoyed these stories, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more explorations into the dark and mysterious. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you never miss a chilling tale. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and keep your eyes open for the unseen.